So in addition to the example that I created, I've also included two student examples. So these are from real life students from a previous semester. So let's go ahead and take a look at example one. Make this a little bigger here. All right. Okay, so you see this student, I disguised her identity, but I didn't really change much, just a couple of details there. She has her heading according to MLA guidelines. She has her header, her last name is disguised. She has her title, colon, annotated bibliography. Now, the title that she chose, The Progression on Self-Image, that deals with the theme of her research, which is on the body positivity movement, especially with social media and how that plays out. So she has this source here. That's all her the publication information for this particular source. She has her brief but detailed summary of the source, where she encapsulates the main argument of it and provides some of the supporting details for that, so the reader can get a pretty good understanding of that source. Here she has her assessment of the source, so what she thinks the source does well, and even potentially some of the shortcomings or limitations of the source, and then she has her indication of how she plans to use the source in her essay project. Now, this is just one entry. Keep in mind one entry. This for this particular semester, back then when she wrote this, I had the students give me all three in one document, but because we're working online, it's a little bit different. So yours won't have all three in the same document. You're just going to submit the first entry on Thursday, July 16th, and then the following two, Sunday the 19th, right? But yeah, so she has the publication information for this source, followed by the summary of the source, followed by her assessment of the source, with a brief indication of how she plans to use the source, and then for the third source, publication info, summary, assessment, and then indication of how she plans to use the source. Okay, and you notice she single spaced it, so she didn't double space it. Again, you don't need to double space the annotated bibliography. I just think it looks a little neater when it's single spaced. Let's take a look at the second student example. Make this a little bigger here. So this student, she has her heading according to MLA guidelines. She had her header, but of course her identity is disguised. She titled her ambib, the War on Vowed Mishaps, annotated bibliography. This particular essay project she was working on, she was researching how mental health issues affect marriage, which I thought was a really interesting topic. So all of her sources kind of dealt with different aspects of that. So in this case, she has a publication information for the source. Now here, this she got dinged on. I wanted to show you guys, kind of something to not do. She kind of lopsided this. I want you guys to dedicate more of your word space to the summary of the source, because that's going to force you to actually read the source more carefully to actually determine if it's going to be useful for you. And ultimately, it's going to make for a better paper, because if you understand your sources better, you're going to understand how to use them better and how they can fit into your paper. So she lopsided it. It was still 250 words, but the first two components were a little skimpy, and then she had a lot in how she planned to use it. So don't follow this. Make these two a little bit more bulked up, but she did have her other ones were a little bit more in line with that. So okay. Well, if you have any questions, let me know. In the meantime, start thinking about those topics, potential things you might be interested in researching. The world is your playground, or the cosmos, rather, your playground. So have fun out there.